All right, let's get the conversation going around the 5 habits of highly effective endurance athletes. And listen, in my point of view, I know we're all sitting here on the lab here talking that business is endurance, endurance is business. But Richie, you like to hang out in the endurance world of athletes. You are an endurance athlete yourself. And let's get into the 5 habits of highly effective endurance athletes. 90% Rich of top athletes regularly reassess and adjust their goals based on performance data and evolving circumstances. Number 1, Richie, as you're starting out, and I know you're looking at races around the world right now, but let's talk about number 1. Relentless goal setting and adaption. Rich, talk about the difference between a long-term goal and a short-term goal and how you address that as an endurance athlete. Rich.
Yeah, so we all know that we have blocks to get to wherever we're going. So we set up these blocks, and those are our small milestones to get to where we're going. So like right now, my main focus is an April race out in California. And so I have blocks that are going to take me to get there. So yesterday I did 2 a day. I was running in the morning and I had strength at night. So I have strength goals as well as running goals. So I'll have these smaller races in between there. Now, fortunately, I have a coach, and everybody has a coach. The professionals that you see out there have coaches. Whenever she sees differences in my analytics, so we've talked about this before, heart rate variability, nighttime body temperature, resting heart rate, she can adjust my training based on that, how we go. The bottom line is consistency, right? And you're right. That's the same way in the workplace when we're starting to, whether it's a startup or we're trying to raise the bar, maintaining that consistency and silencing the noise.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, so Marty talked with us in his Fit Tip Day, but we talk about recovery. I want you to talk not only from the endurance side, but muscle and our entire body, but talk about number 2, habit number 2, 5 highly effective endurance athletes is mastering recovery, the art of rest. And I'm going to even add that the art of feeling you need recovery. John, let's talk about prioritizing rest days and active recovery and the importance of sleep and mental recovery to become an endurance athlete.
100%. First thing, I just want to kind of preface this whole thing. If you're sitting there, if you're a listener thinking, I'm not an endurance athlete, let's flip the script here. Life is a sport, and we all are endurance athletes, because life is, we got to use a hell of a lot of endurance to get through life. So this stuff applies to life as well as it does when we're talking about specific athletic type of activity. So my thing with rest and recovery is you have to think of it as more of a, people think of, oh, I need to make sure that I'm getting my recovery, and they're doing it almost like they're playing behind the 8 ball, meaning they're trying to catch up. They're trying to make sure that they're doing the things. They're like, oh my God, I better really focus on my sleep or my whatever. This is stuff that needs to be focused on all the time. You don't wait until your teeth are falling out, start brushing your teeth. For Christ's sake, brush your teeth ahead of time so that you don't lose your teeth. Well, proper sleep, making sure that you keep a daily inventory on what's going on in terms of everything is a part of this equation. So recovery, don't let recovery turn into one of those things that you're scrambling to put together because you did too much and you weren't staying on top of it. That's something you got to do always. It's almost think of it more from ahead of time. You want to have those habits in play so that when you throw down the hammer, you've got those pieces of the equation that are already ready to keep your equation moving forward.
Yeah. Rich, I see you nodding there as Johnny's talking.
Yeah, because the biggest thing, so especially in endurance sports, overuse injuries are like a light switch. And if every day, every single night, I'm trying to at least get 7 hours of sleep every night, doesn't matter what it is, because I have to wake up the next day and do it all over again. The recovery day, it's part of the training program, but all that is a muscle reset. I'm not really doing too much different, anything else. It all builds on it. And so if we are just trying to, we call it banking sleep hours, that's not a real thing, right? You can't just expect to get sleep in one day and think that's going to take care of all your recovery. It has to build.
Marty, why are we all so reluctant to rest or have a nap or sleep? We all just want to try to squeeze so many hours in a day. And I'm using anecdotes here, but we don't want to go to sleep. Or it's just like this year, finally, Apple on the Apple Watch said, hey, we're gonna allow you to have a rest recovery and not break your streak. In Rich's, I have to get 7 hours to prepare for tomorrow. John's big on habit stacking for tomorrow. Marty, why are we as human beings so reluctant to sleep and accept recovery? Is it FOMO? Marty, what do you think it is, brother?
I just think we prioritize everything over our sleep. We prioritize business over sleep. We prioritize, it's going to sound messed up, but we prioritize family over sleep, which of course sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice sleep for your family, but it shouldn't be to the point where you're getting 3 hours of sleep every night. You got to figure out how to still be the great dad or the great mom and take care of yourself too. I just think it's not talked about. People aren't educated on sleep. They aren't educated on how important it is. Especially when it comes to fitness. Me and Johnny did a whole segment the other day on sleep, but nobody knows that's the key ingredient right there. That's when the muscle grows. That's when the fat burns. So I think it's lack of education and lack of prioritizing the sleep.
Yeah. Johnny, do you tell your customers to sleep? Like you're like, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
Brother, I got to just jump in. It's unbelievable. Sorry to interrupt, but you said that and it just bursts out of me because people need to hear this. I say point blank. If you had a shitty night's sleep, guess what? You do not get to train. It's your sleep is what allows you to have the opportunity to train. If you had a really bad night's sleep and you woke up feeling groggy, let's not waste our time with breaking down muscle tissue that the body's not going to be able to heal. Let's invest our time into taking a nap. Let's invest our time into making sure that our nutrition is totally on point. Let's put our energy into making sure that shit doesn't happen again tonight.
Rich, I see you nodding there as Johnny's jumping into that. You lean into the power of sleep as well, don't you, Richie?
Oh, yeah, I love it. And that concept as well, man, that's inspiring because rest days are hard. We think we're moving backwards.
Yeah,
right?
They're magical, baby. They're magical.
And I try not to focus too much on what my watch does with the data. I try and read into the data because it'll throw stuff out there like your performance condition is negative. That's horseshit. But it will give me in the details what those numbers are. But when we take that Garmin and we can see that it'll say unproductive. And a lot of times that's correct because you're overtraining. And so just because you're going harder doesn't mean that you're being productive. You're moving it. Your VO2 max can go backward.
Yeah.
And sleep resets that.
Yeah, that's powerful because you're right. So today is rest and recovery day, Wednesday for me. And Johnny, again, you fucking teach me something every single day. And I'm chasing the feeling. And I got up, did my morning routine. And I was like, even though it's rest and recovery day, and I'm mentally having to tell myself, Rich, slow down, accept it, accept the rest, accept the recovery. And John trying to find the feeling of that dopamine rush. Do you know what I'm trying to say, John? Where when you do a lift or you get your heart rate up, you get that dopamine rush. I don't know how to get that when I'm resting and recovering. What do you tell your clients, John, with that?
So I don't want you, and we can even literally talk about you specifically, excuse me, but I don't want you to do nothing. I don't want you to feel unproductive.
Yeah.
I want you to I want you to check those boxes, get your dopamine.
Yes.
Just don't lift any heavy shit. A little bit of blood flow is going to be really helpful in your body getting back to par. But let's not create any more stress. Let's look at this as activities based upon what's going to be helpful to get the body to recover, not what's going to be harmful.
Yeah, that's exceptional. All right, you're hanging out with Keith, John, Rich, and C. Marty Fit here at 8:47 here on the Eastern time here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. Johnny, we're going to throw you up for the lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back. And I got a couple more habits here on 5 habits of highly effective endurance athletes. But to John's point, 5 habits of highly effective endurance business operators, life livers. Listen, the habits we're talking about this morning are going to help you get through life, frankly. But while we're wrapping in the title of Endurance Athletics, business is about endurance. So Johnny, let's get into the lifestyle tips. The idea of endurance in athletics, endurance in sports. And we started the conversation at the bottom of the hour here on the 5 habits of highly effective endurance athletes. We're on number 3 here. And then we're going to go 4, 5, and then get into nutrition for our protein break. But Richie, when you listen, we talked last week about the Leadville 100. I want to talk a little bit about cultivating mental toughness through discomfort. That old saying of, I don't know the old saying, the pain is temporary, the results are forever. There has been times that you are grinding up a trail. There's times that you're going at it and you're just saying, I'm done. I'm ready to give up. Inspire somebody right now where you've had to cultivate some mental toughness through discomfort. Somebody's listening. Somebody's not wanting to get out of bed. Somebody's stuck. Richie, give them something to hang on to get them moving, brother.
So one, again, it's about consistency. You can train yourself to get through daunting times. And I'll tell you, Keith, I don't say I'm done. I don't say I'm going to quit. And it's because I've trained myself that no matter what, somebody's carrying me off that fucking hill. So when I was in like Leadville 100, you have a 5-mile climb up to Hope Pass, which is at 12,600 feet. So you're 5 miles, you're coming from like 9,500 feet. It's a fucking hike. And I don't ever tell myself that I'm not going to quit. And so I think by doing the uncomfortable things repetitively, you train your brain to think in that manner. So you're more accustomed to attacking those challenges.
Yeah. Marty, talk about cultivating mental toughness through discomfort. Again, getting in the squat rack, getting in the gym. There's many times like, I don't think I can do this, but you grind through it. What do you use to grind through it, brother?
Man, I'm a big talk guy, man. I can convince myself I'm the president if I need to. That's just how I roll, man. Like, you can't break me. So you got to develop that confidence. And it might not be talking like that for you, but you got to find what kind of talk works for you. What is going to get you going? And mine comes from getting through obstacles, getting through hard things. That's where mine comes from. So you got to tap into whatever made you great, because we're all unique and we all separate ourselves in some unique way. So whatever makes you great, tap into that. And that's how I develop my mental toughness to get me through things.
Oh, I like that. Johnny, athletes who have a support network. I talked about this during my accountability check-in, but athletes who have a support network, coaches, teammates, family, are 60% more likely to stick with long-term goals. John, talk about the power of building a strong support system. You've had success in your life because of the coaches around you. Talk about the role of coaches, mentors, and community, and then the power of an accountability partner to help you reach those exceptional goals. And then Richie, I'm going to come to you next after Johnny's response. Johnny.
Let's talk about any topic. Successful people have coaches and mentors, period. And it's one of those things where you just have to realize that there's always somebody that knows a little more. There's always someone that has a slightly more efficient way of doing things. And you need to basically get to those people, surround yourself with those people. And especially when it comes to like a really big goal in athletics, of course, but in any type of when you're really working hard, sometimes what you need is to be told exactly what to do and not have to think, because there are times when you want to make a decision or you want to do your cognitive skills, whatever you want to call it, are in that position where you might not be making the best decision. So you have that coach say, no, you're going to do it like this, and you're going to do it now. And then you just disconnect all this shit and physically carry it out. So a coach, a mentor, all the above, they're there for so many different reasons in so many different situations. I think the biggest thing is that people need to understand that even coaches have coaches. And that's a huge part of what makes someone successful is their support group.
Yeah. Richie, I saw you laughing and smiling there. I'd like to hear your comments on this.
That was exactly what I was thinking. So I have one of my best friends. He is a coach, and he's running the Moab 240 coming up here in a couple weeks. He has a coach. And the reason why is because it takes emotion out of the process. He's going to want to build his schedule to just crush it, to keep going. And his coach is there to say, hey, hold on, man, we got to scale back. And so it's to take emotion out of it. And also, I like a coach as well in that support group because maybe I'm self-conscious, but I don't want to let them down. They put a plan out. They have certain expectations. I've set expectations for myself. So that's how I hold myself accountable is like, all right, this is a team effort and I'm going to do my part.